Hi, I am Allie Camaletti, and you are listening to Snack Leadership. I will be talking about everything leadership, broken down into bite-sized pieces. You will hear what different leadership skills look like in organizations and how they can rise teams up or take them down. I help leaders build resilience and improve performance by bringing awareness to opportunity behaviors in my business. Spark your mindset. I provide leadership and sales coaching, as well as team building and guest speaking. My hope is for you to feel inspiration and to create a spark in your mindset. Hi everyone. Today I am talking about cultural competence, the ability to understand, communicate, and effectively manage diversity. As I was looking at this and figuring out what I wanted to share and compliment Lenore's share earlier this month, when she just has such a wealth of knowledge in this area, what came to me is talking more about how we implement it in business and what the results look like. I am going to start off with an example about my mother. My mother has been retired now for about 7 years coming up. And just in the last couple years, she decided that she was going to semi-retire at this point in the game and got her real estate license. Now, she has been living down in Mexico for about 20 years now, and it's just been kind of part-time, but now she has dual citizenship. And one of the reasons why she decided to get her real estate license, which I will say at the start, I was like, really, Mom? I think it's kind of crazy, but you know what? She is knocking it out of the park right now. And I was thinking about why is she so successful in this area? And what it comes down to, as I've been watching her, is that she knows that Mexican culture. Having dual citizenship, being down there for so long, she knows how to communicate in that culture, as well as communicate with U.S. citizens, and she's even getting some other citizens from other countries that are coming, they're buying land, and they're building. So one of the things that I heard her recently say while she was talking with the client, and it was a Russian couple, and they were talking on, I want to say it was a Sunday, and the gentleman really wanted to get things moving, and she said, well, if there's anything I know, it's that on Sundays, I will not reach out to the owners because that's their family day, and I respect that. And I thought, wow, that was so good. And I could kind of hear from the other side that the gentleman was like, oh yeah, family day, that's important. But this is something that's extremely important. She said, literally, they will not answer their phone. And so she knows better than to even reach out. Another thing that she has learned with them, because she's a little bit of a go-getter. I mean, here she is, right? At 68, she decided to semi-retire and sell real estate. She said that she learned she really had to slow down, but she knew that from living down there, and that's why she loved to live down there so much, was the slower pace and not the hustle and bustle that she lived in the retail world for so long. And she talked about how she learned that she had to start off asking them how their day was, but then asking them how their family was. That's the next place you go. You ask about the family, and that's just part of the Mexico culture. Now, my mom's in an area in Baja that's a little more rural. It's pretty well known, Los Barriles. But what's happening is she's having locals come to her and say, I want you to sell my property. And they're starting to sell, like they have big lots of property, and she is breaking them down into sellable lots. And what's happening is that they trust her. And that's why they're coming to her. And I asked, why do you think they trust you so much? And she said, I'm really in the community. So for the last 6 years, She has been really involved in fundraising for their schools, and that has built trust. She's in their community. Now, in business, we're not always able to go and live in a community like she is, but it just shows her understanding of the culture and really able to honor their culture and respect it. And that's why she has so much trust with them. And she is really doing amazing. So I found an article in business.com called How Cultural Competence Improves Your Business. And they start off with recognizing differences in others and how it can help improve your business. As I just shared with my mother and understanding, you better not call them on a Sunday. If anything, you're just going to irritate them. And you better not push. They take their time. If you push, it isn't going to build trust, and they're not going to want to work with you. So you need to honor and respect the time and the pace that they like to go at. So understanding cultural differences and building a cultural competent company isn't just a skill for global businesses. Small businesses can learn a ton from the principles of international business. Cross-cultural competencies keep businesses from making bad decisions, especially in advertising. Oh, this reminds me of, I was on LinkedIn and somebody had posted about a conference in the vacation rental industry, and there was cultural diversity, but one of the things, there wasn't a woman in that lineup of speakers. And boy, it didn't take long for somebody to say, "Hey, what's going on? How come you don't have any women in there?" And the person was like, "You're absolutely right." And so that's a perfect example of how maybe we think we're hitting the cultures, but we're forgetting also about that other diversity. Now, cross-cultural competencies go far beyond simply helping a company avoid racial stereotyping and exposing an international bias. Cultural competencies are also far more practical than being reserved for elite international companies doing business abroad. Cross-cultural competencies are essential for every business, even a local business, because everywhere there are people, there are differences. When business leaders focus on cultural competence skills, there are 6 predictable outcomes. It creates rapport, it improves efficiency, opens new markets and networks, makes people feel valued and builds loyalty and repeat business. It is interesting, and interest creates innovation. Lastly, it helps you avoid mistakes, miscommunication, and dissatisfaction. I don't care to put money first in any business decision. I believe the money will come in the end. Yet, an outcome of cultural competence is that it improves the bottom line. If you could increase cultural competence in your leadership and reach the 6 outcomes I listed, decreased dissatisfaction reduces cancellations and returns. Innovation yields higher profit products and services. It is always easier to sell something to an existing customer than a new customer, and loyalty is always profitable. Efficiency reduces waste. New markets yield new customers, and rapport gets us to the goal faster. In most business, time is money, and time saved is literally a dollar earned. Cultural competencies are not always as obvious as the examples with my mother. It is about knowing the general experience between people with otherwise very similar backgrounds can have a profound impact. Younger tech support people often become exasperated with older customers who are not native users of technology. So focusing on teaching them patience and empathy as a cross-cultural competence when dealing with customer adaptation of technology. The culturally competent leader understands the differences exist among all people, and the skills used in international business apply equally to local businesses. Leaders who want to discover the 6 ways cross-cultural competence can increase the bottom line need to pay attention to the bridge that span these differences? Obvious or not? The top 3 skills leaders can develop and teach team members include empathetic responsiveness. This is all about stepping out of our own worldview and responding after we have taken a moment to understand another's advantage point. This is easier said than done, as there is a lot of difficulty in understanding someone else's frame of reference when we might not have our own experience that helps us to see clearly. This is why leaders always need to expand their own worldview by creating as many new experiences as possible and really taking the time to listen to others before responding. Reserve value judgments. Often when going into a company, I hear frontline employees express, "Our customers are idiots." And if your staff believes this, your customers will know. They're disdained, even if it is unspoken. The number one reason for this belief is that customers who are new to a product or service do not have the same experience trained customer service people have in the exact same product or service. We often forget that one person's experience is different than another's and inject a value judgment about the situation. Learning how to put space between our thoughts and our value judgments is an essential skill when we do this. Instead of driving customers away with a culture that disdains them, we build a culture that affirms them and values them and that always fosters loyalty. I experience this often when I go into restaurants and I have the food allergies I have. And I will tell you, there are restaurants that I won't go to. They're just not on my list anymore because of how they've treated me based on the different types of food allergies I have. And I'm not kidding you. Some have been like, yeah, you probably shouldn't eat here at all. And I just kind of smile thinking, you're right, I'm not going to eat here. And if I'm not eating here, I'm not recommending other people eat here. Another is values clarification. A skill to develop is the ability to ask customers what's important to them. This should be number one with questions in sales. I'm going to give the example of vacation rentals. If your salespeople are going on and on about activities in an area and have no idea, potentially that the person they are talking with is not even in a position to be enjoying such activities, it could easily turn ugly and make the person more upset or even depressed about their situation. Cross-cultural competencies lead to innovative teams, higher profits and outcomes that benefit everyone. There are no downsides to paying attention to cultural competencies, only positives for every leader in every organization and in every place. I will leave you with the quote, "To be culturally humble means I am willing to learn," by Joe Gallagher. Thank you for tuning in to Snack Leadership. I hope you felt inspiration, motivation, and felt your mindset spark. Snack Leadership is recorded and produced by myself, Ali Camilletti, and music by Shireen Amini.